Guys, welcome back to Breakthrough Conversations. My name is Brett English.
My name is Ryan Ortega.
And we have a very special guest with us today. We've got Samantha Duly from the Dragonfly Centre of Life and Spirit, who is a spiritual medium. And thank you so much for coming down and sharing your time with us.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Could I just ask, how did you find that you had these gifts of mediumship? Was it something you had to work for and build, or did it just sort of happen one day?
Well, I knew as a child, a young child, that I was a bit different. I would say a bit different. So they do say that true mediums are born and not made, but you know that can cause a little bit of controversy with some people.
Yeah.
But it's in the genetics. My grandmother was a medium as well, my mum's mum. So it's very, very interesting that even though I had experiences as a child, when my grandmother passed 10 days before our birthday, we have the same birthday.
Oh wow.
I felt it was passed on to me. So you can say that, but actually mediumship is in your soul and it will come out whatever age you are. So, but it was just very strange how mine kind of kicked in. But as I say, it's in your soul already, but a trauma, like a death or a near-death experience or something that really does affect you emotionally, it can come out. So I felt that happened with my grandmother.
Yeah.
And it wasn't expected. It wasn't expected passing.
Wow.
So it made it, quite, if I say, traumatic, bless her. But, so yes, so it's, as a child, I had my tea parties with my little spirit friends.
Oh wow.
So,
that's,
and I was the only
adorable.
one that had the bedroom downstairs.
Yeah.
So I just felt, I was in this little world of my own. And interesting enough, I really disliked the dark when I was younger. I'm getting better on it. After you've done paranormal investigations in the pitch black, in war tunnels or stately homes, you get used to the dark. So I am getting better, and I just think, oh gosh, I see dead people, but I don't like the dark. But in fact, actually they're not dead, they're more alive than we are.
Wow, yeah. So we like sleeping sort of zombies, I suppose.
Yes, yeah.
Wow,
Oh,
so
wow,
you
that's
did paranormal
crazy.
Investigation in
I did that
war
in
tunnels.
the UK, yes,
Wow.
yes. So that really did help with the fear of the dark.
Yeah.
So, but yes, it's very interesting. There's a bit of a fallacy about, the mediumship and what people realise what you do, or they think you're going to fix them, or you're going to do the lottery numbers, or you get the usual jokes. Oh, you say you're a medium, but you're rather small. So, but mediumship is purely different.
Yeah.
Mediumship is connecting with heaven.
Wow.
So, that's the most important thing. It's connecting with heaven. Psychic is completely different.
Okay.
But mediumship is, that element of blending the worlds together, like shifting your awareness and your consciousness and going into the spiritual realms.
Yeah.
Is there a practice that you do to connect to those realms
Yes.
that will sort of help you?
Yes, I
switch on and
do.
off?
So it's called sitting in the power. And you ignite your soul, basically. So I don't know whether you guys have any idea where your soul might be in your body. So I used to think it was near my heart, but if you think about it, your chakras, your solar plexus, so
Solar
that is where
plexus,
your
yeah.
soul is. So I build up my energy from my soul, and I obviously breathe in, because obviously your solar plexus is the yellow colour, if you know about that. So I breathe in golden yellow and I push it out, and as I breathe in and out, I just expand that golden light, and then it goes up and beyond.
Oh wow.
And I sit in that, that light, and as the worlds blend together, you feel the love. You feel the love of your passed over loved ones, so you get that feeling, and then you literally sit in that love and light.
Wow.
For could be anything, 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So I do that before I start my day. And so I'm in that realm, so to speak.
Beautiful.
But obviously you've got to make sure that you turn that off at the end of the day.
Okay.
Yes, you can't always be in that. Otherwise, if I went to the shops, I'd be like seeing everybody.
Yeah.
So, but you have got to stop that when you're not working.
Beautiful. Now, for like the people who are out there who are a little bit cynical, maybe like my parents,
Yeah.
would be like, is there a difference between good spirit or bad spirit, or any mischievous or trickery you need to watch out for in that regard?
That's just, I don't really go down that route, but yes, sometimes people do say that, but I do feel it's quite a lot in the mind.
Yeah.
You know, like they say, you know, I was brought up Catholic and like heaven's up here and hell's down here, but I just feel people create their own hell on earth. And also they can say, oh, there's bad spirits and everything. I mean, doing the paranormal investigations, yes, we've had a few that have, you know, played tricks on us, but really that isn't a ghost as such, it's a residue energy that you can pick up. So, but you know, you're always going to get light and dark and everything like that. So, but it's not some route that I go down, but there are some that truly believe in it. You know,
so you believe if you go down that rabbit hole, those beliefs and those ideas will sort of get stuck in your mind and play?
Oh, absolutely. It is in your mind, yes, absolutely. So I always remember my grandmother saying, the devil waits outside the pub. So of course, you know, I always say to my students, never mix spirit with spirit. So if you've had a drink, don't sit in the power or connect to spirit, because yes, you may attract people that may have taken their life with drugs or drink, or you know what I mean. There is lower realms, yes. So, but you know, it just depends what you go through. But I just deal with just love, you know, and it's I keep my vibes high, love, and if you think about it, your passed over loved ones, how you feel about them, that is what keeps you going. Definitely, it's love. You know, so yes, but it's other people that can go down that route, I would say.
And in developing this gift that you've gotten, working with it more and more often,
yes.
Did you ever feel early days unsafe in that power or doing that sort of stuff?
Not at all. I just think I scared myself. To be honest, I would say, oh, don't come to me. You know, I would see somebody at the end of my bed and I'll just like hide under the covers. But that's just like not understanding. So, but as you get older, you just realise they're there because they love you. But as a child, you see a spirit and you think, oh my goodness, who's that? But it's feel the fear, isn't it? But now again, I say to my students, feel the fear and do it anyway. You know, you've got to get past that barrier. You know, so again, it's in the mind. Very much so. That's what I say. So
nice. And do you have sort of helpers that work with you on the other side, maybe like spirit guides or things of that nature?
Well, I do have a spirit guide, but who I use if I need to. So say, for instance, there's, I'll give you an example. If a client comes to me and say there's been a very bad relationship with, say, her father, and she's very unsure whether she wants to speak to him or not, I do then say to my guide, do you think this is, how do I do this? And he will say, yes, maybe just say, I have your father here, and just be very, very gentle. But on the whole, that's rarely happened. I just go straight to spirit. I literally, somebody will sit down, I went, oh, your dad's here. And I'll just go like that. Just see them very quickly.
Oh, wow. Are you ever at the shops and spirit's like, oh, please tell this person something for me? Like this?
Oh, no, maybe in the early days, going back 20 years, you're so excited and you just think, oh my goodness, I'm seeing that person, I'm seeing it. But you can't, you have got to turn it off. I always remember my mentor saying, don't be a leaky tap. You can't keep giving your energy out, otherwise you'll be depleted. You know, spirit world want you to work for 20 years, not 2, because you burn yourself out. So there is a time and a place, very much so. So, you know, occasionally if I have a coffee with a friend and I know they're having a bad time, they may ask me sometimes, or sometimes they don't. But I do try and, I have to say, have a relatively normal life. Just saying what's normal. I say I'm normal, I see dead people, you're not normal because you don't see them.
Were you a fan of John Edwards back in the day? Do you remember him?
Don't really follow him as such, obviously being English, as you can tell. I'm more of the old-fashioned mediums going back, you know, so like my mentor was, well, still is, if I need to talk to her, Mavis Patilla. And her mentor was Gordon Higginson. Now, Gordon Higginson, anyone can look him up, greatest medium of all time, gave addresses, surnames, telephone numbers.
Wow, like exact
you know, it's
details.
someone to aspire to.
Oh, wow.
Very much so. So yes, so I still work at my mediumship, even after 20 years. I want to be the best I can be for spirit. And so I just will sit with spirit world and just say, right, okay, I'd like to get really good on surnames and middle names. So I'm not on the telephone numbers yet, because who remembers your telephone number? But addresses, you know, so I really do still learn. I believe in lifelong learning.
Yeah.
You know, like even driving around here, I think, oh, that street name, oh, that street name. So if I like to look at streets and names and houses, then I store it in my sort of database.
Yeah.
And then when you're working with the spirit and you'll say, well, oh, tell me about your house. And then they'll give you an example of maybe what you've just seen. It is it's fascinating.
Very fascinating.
So
Fascinating.
do they link things that you've already experienced? They can't show you something you haven't experienced?
Absolutely. That happens quite a lot. So back in my younger years, I was a nurse, or like in England they called it auxiliary nurse, like a carer. And when I first started doing this professionally, I used to see one of my old patients and I used to start describing them. And then the person said, oh yes, that's my gran or that's my granddad. So once I'd got 4 yeses, in my mind I said, oh, thanks to my old patient. And then I'd carry on, and it's a bit like they give you a step up. It's fascinating,
Wow.
It truly is.
How do you strengthen that channel to be able to get the exact details, not just the gist of what's sort of going
Well,
on?
sitting in the power,
Yeah.
and as I said to you, looking at houses, looking at street names, people watching. Oh my God, that's the best thing. Because when you bring through somebody from the spirit world, you've got their mannerisms, you've got their essence. So if you spend quite a lot of time people watching, you pick up a lot.
I actually do that at the shops. Like, I feel like
and
like
you
you're
just
looking
think,
at the zoo or something,
that's
like
it.
just
So what we
analysing
are
it.
here today is exactly what we're going to be in heaven.
Wow.
The core of us, our personality, is still going to carry on. So the
wow,
more
okay.
you work on your mediumship, the stronger you'll get for spirit. So I'm also noticing now, because like I say, I believe in lifelong development. My daughter's an ICU nurse in the UK. Now I've supported her and listened, as you can imagine, the last 2 years with COVID. And she'll say, oh, mum, today, da-da-da-da-da, patient, da-da-da-da, never gives me any names, and just said, oh my goodness, this happened today or that happened today. And then I store the information again in my subconscious. So last week I saw a lady and I said, oh, your father's here, tells me, and I looked at his chest thinking of what my daughter said recently. I went, oh, 1, 2, 3. Oh, he tells me he had a triple bypass and he was awaiting a second operation. And she said, yeah, he died on the Sunday and his second operation was on Monday, the day up. And I saw that, but that's because I'd listened to what my daughter has said to me and I've stored it.
Wow.
It's just fantastic.
And
Wow,
do they say those things as a form of clarification of like, so the person you're with knows that it's all real?
They know it. They just say, yeah, that's right. So it is, as you can see, this is my life.
Yeah.
And I'm all about really giving accuracy.
Yeah.
But when I say accuracy, is where no one is 100% as a medium, because sometimes by the time it comes through the airwaves, sometimes it can be a misjointed. I mean, they don't talk like we do. It's not like a full sentence. If you could say have a full sentence, say 10 words, we may only get 6. So then you've got to not let your left brain come in and add those bits, because you could go totally off. You've just got to say, right, okay, let me feel it, let me see it, use all of your senses, and what's your story? Let me tell your story.
Wow.
It is.
So our ego can sort of distort the messages.
Oh, yes, your ego and your left brain, the wonderful conscious mind. Yeah, that's the worst thing. I say to all my students, conscious mind, naughty corner. You know, just put it over there. Because even now, I'll think, oh, what are they trying to say? And you think, no, left brain, go over there, right brain. So I get spirits from right side, which obviously is your creative side.
Yeah.
So that's how I get the information. And it's very interesting. I've always thought if someone's left-handed, do they get spirits from the left hand? But then again, that's your left brain, that's your logical brain. It's all right side. It's all creative.
Interesting.
I always thought that the right side of the brain was the feminine, but the left side of the body was the feminine. So it sort of switches.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't know that actually.
I can't confirm that, but that's what I've heard.
Yes.
But going back to the energy work, you said doing some sort of work can feel very heavy on or very taxing?
Oh yes, if there's a suicide or there's been a murder, which I do a lot, and it's very interesting because I say I do a lot of murders and suicides, is because I've experienced that close to me in my family and friends and tragedies. So I've always been told the spirit world don't give you things that you can't handle.
True.
And if you've had an experience of it yourself, then you have a higher understanding. So yes, it is very sad if you have somebody that's been killed by a shark or been murdered. You just have to be so empathic that, just some of the energy can be a little bit heavy.
Yeah, you sort of feel what they're
feeling. You feel it, yeah, you feel it. Because obviously you are very sensitive to be a medium. You're very sensitive to energies. So you do feel a lot. And that's what I say, it's very important, going back to, again, you have got to turn yourself off.
Yeah.
So I say, I'm off duty today, so I'm a muggle today. Because I'm not doing readings today, I'm a muggle.
How do you turn it off? Like a practice?
Okay, so obviously, as I said to you, I sit in the light.
Yeah.
I've also got a shortcut to the power, and mine is a golden 8.
Okay.
And as I say that in my mind, I draw it, so obviously spirit and me. Spirit and me, so that's my golden 8, and that's my life path number as well. So I would just literally maybe cut that in half, say, right, that's it, I'm normal, I'm off duty.
Oh, nice.
Literally, even saying I'm off duty, that's enough.
Okay, so does that mean you can't see anything when you're off duty, or
the senses are there, but I just choose not to do it. Because otherwise I'll end up in heaven.
Okay.
Because it's tiring.
Yeah.
It is. I wouldn't change my job for the world, but you have 4 readings. It could be a child death, a murder, a suicide, and then just like if I say like a mother or something, and you're like, at the end of the day, you just exhausted.
Is there a maximum number of sessions you can do in a day before you're like, that's enough?
4. 4 45 minutes, that's enough. So, but if I do a demonstration, so my last demonstration I did 15 links.
Oh wow.
And that's a lot,
15
especially when
like a similar
15
time?
in a room.
Wow.
And that's obviously there were about 60 people there, and you obviously get drawn to certain energies in the room, or I literally will see their spirit standing behind them. So that's a bigger energy to deal with, because you're subconsciously, they're saying, pick me, pick me, pick me. So you can sometimes get a feeling you're being drawn out of your solar plexus. But then it's also having the right spirit, going to the right person, because when you do a big demonstration like that, you get a few body snatchers or message grabbers, as we call them.
Yeah.
They want it to be for them.
Oh really?
And yes, they
so
do
the same
that.
as on Earth, same in the spirit world.
Same then, that's it. Yeah. No, not the spirit world. The audience.
Okay.
They want that reading,
Oh.
and so they'll say yes, it's for me, and then actually it's not. So you've got to pick through some people, and that's quite hard energy.
Yeah.
So
do you tell them? Do you like, sorry, no, that's not for you?
Yes, I'll just say, no, I actually feel drawn to this person, but you can still listen. Because I always say, sometimes you get a message out of someone else's message.
Oh wow.
But that's when you have to truly trust in the power that you're with that right person.
Oh, okay.
Because then you've got someone, no, it's for me. And I say, no, I actually feel drawn to this person. So, but the power will pull you. If you've got a father communicating with you and he wants to talk to his daughter in the audience, you say, well, where is she then? Is she in the front row? Is she back row, middle? So I say to them, come on, take me to the area. It is fascinating.
Oh wow, that's fascinating.
So a lot of intuition in this.
As well. Well, it's trusting in spirit. Yes, it's not sort of the intuition, it's trusting in them that they'll take you to the right. But then knowing that you're right as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you ever have experiences where they kind of guide you through like your day-to-day or your everyday life, or like it's just like
no, not really.
Not really? Okay.
No. I mean, yes, you can sometimes, if you're driving, you suddenly get turn off. I've had that before. So that's something, but that I wouldn't know who said that. But then you realise that there's obviously for a reason, there's been an accident. Like I never ever lose my keys, and I was due to see my friend a couple of weeks ago. And then when I did find my keys, I locked them in my house. So it's a good job my neighbour's got a spare set. So time I went to the neighbour, and I just said to her, I am so sorry, I'm running late, but I have never ever that's happened to me. And I just said, really, thanks. You've obviously saved me for something that I shouldn't be a part of.
Wow. Yeah.
So yes, so that really fascinated me a few weeks ago.
Oh wow. Okay, that's crazy.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I always think there's always a reason. Always a reason.
Do you have any idea or concept of how the spiritual world looks, or where it's located, or is it a different dimension? How do they travel from here to there?
Well, obviously they come through love. That's what I say. They come through love. So I always say I can have mentors, I can have books, but my best teachers are the spirit world. So I sit and I talk to them.
Yeah.
Sit and talk to them. And quite often I say, and what are you doing now? So they could tell me what they're doing. One young girl who was passed in an accident, she said, please tell my mum and dad I'm a teacher now. And they said she just started a university degree.
Wow.
To do her teaching.
In the spirit world?
Well, she'd done it started it on Earth, and then she died, and then she then said, tell my parents I'm a teacher now. So she fulfilled her ambition in heaven that she started on Earth.
Wow.
Oh wow. Okay.
So to me, you can do whatever you want in spirit world. You know, you're still learning. Obviously, we learn on Earth, don't we? So our soul is here to learn lessons on Earth, because obviously the Earth's a classroom, but then you carry on learning in the spirit world.
Are there like multiple worlds? Like
There's 7 levels of heaven.
7 levels?
Yes, there's 7 levels. Mediums tend to only deal with the first 3.
Okay.
So, and I'm just trying to think of the exact order. I believe, don't quote me, the first level is the mental level. So that's when you first go, and you're obviously getting used to your new home because it's very, very different. Part of you would still be attached to the earth because of your family and, you know, missing your loved ones.
That love is like a bit of a cord?
That love.
Yeah.
And then I believe, don't quote me, I'll get them back to front, sometimes it's the etheric and then it's the astral. So, you know, when you first go to heaven, it's like a welcoming party and you're met with everyone that's passed before you. And then obviously depending what happened to you, you either go to the healing centre where you recuperate. You may say, well, they don't have their body anymore, but obviously you still have that if it's been a shock passing or they've been sick for a long time, you go to recuperate. And then when you're stronger, you literally get shown a video of your life.
Oh, wow.
This is what you did, this is how you made people feel. And you know, this is then when your soul continues to carry on, what can I do to change things? It's fascinating.
And do you get a choice to reincarnate from that point, or is it?
No, it's a bit further on.
Okay.
That's a bit further on. So, because if you think, you could be on the first level for, say, 10 years. But obviously their time and our time is completely different.
True.
Now, I'm only sharing you, this is what I've learned over the years.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Obviously, I've never been to heaven myself. So, but this is what I've learned, and I truly believe it.
Yeah.
You know, because I have heard many stories of people that said, yes, you know, they were in the healing centre and they met up with people they'd never known or they'd heard of and things like that.
Wow.
So, you know, as I'm only sharing you what I've learnt, you know, and someone else could have a different point of view.
Beautiful.
But if you think about it in the Bible, there's a quote, in my Father's house there's many mansions. So, and that relates then to the 7 levels in heaven.
Oh, okay. It's kind of interesting how at least the 7 levels kind of relate to what scientists believe are the dimensions that hold reality.
Yes,
because I think it's 7.
Yes.
Yeah.
yes. So yes, so 7 is a very spiritual number.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. True. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in your opinion, or from what you know, what is the difference between a psychic and a medium, and those different
that's what I wanted to
abilities? How do you
ask.
differentiate those two?
Okay, so obviously a medium connects to the spirit world, you know, by use of the power, and a psychic cannot connect to the spirit world. But all mediums are psychic. So a psychic obviously could use a tool, as in cards, tarot, numerology, runes, palm reading.
Like a scrying object?
Yes, scrying, things like that. So you'll normally find a psychic will use a tool, but also psychics can tap into your energy field, your aura.
Okay.
And that's where a lot of information is stored. So the saying, all mediums are psychic, but not all psychics are mediums, is very true. So a psychic will use obviously all their senses, like mediums do, but they tend to go into like a subconscious state, and that's how, it's like a daydreamy state, and that's how you can gain information. But the information stored in your aura, that's how, or your energy field, that is how a psychic can read you. And I always say that psychic is cold reading, because you've heard the term cold reading,
Yeah.
and mediumship is hot, because mediumship is fast, it's very, very quick. So that's how I differentiate it.
Okay.
So, but going back to a psychic can read also jewellery. You can also read a room, you know, that's what a psychic can do. But the purely reading the aura, because your aura is an emanation of your soul. So you store so much in your aura from your childhood to what age you are now.
Okay. Can it ever change?
Yeah, it's like your aura, the colours also change like a kaleidoscope. Okay, so ever changing. But I don't believe people when they say, oh, you have a tear in your aura, or your aura's black, or it's again in the mind.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's colours do change.
Yeah.
But certain colours do mean things in your aura. But it is, as I say, it's this ever-changing kaleidoscope.
Yeah. What do the colors mean? Like, if you are there like specific colors that have
so
different
they
meanings?
all have different meanings. But again, everyone's meanings are different.
So it's subjective to them.
Yes, absolutely. So what colour? Like, if I looked in your aura and I saw a colour. And then if I said to Brett, what colour does he see around you? He could see a totally different colour, but we're very, very different people.
Yeah.
So that's how, you know, that's how you perceive it. But going to colours, colours are amazing. And every colour has a positive and a negative, apart from orange. Because if you think about it, orange is the sun. Orange is very, very positive. The sun obviously makes us feel good. But say, for instance, you've got blue, there's a positive and a negative. If you think the negative of blue, you've got someone has the blues, so they can be depressed. And then if you think of green, green with envy. And then you go to yellow, and you could say yellow belly. So do you know what I mean? But there's no negative to orange. So I always say orange is the healing colour. You know, because you used to associate pink and green with healing, you know.
Yeah.
But it's actually orange is the best colour. Wow. So if you know that someone's not well, send them orange.
That's interesting. I've never heard of that before. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Think about it. And I used to say purple was one of my favourite colours, and actually it's one of the worst colours.
Oh, really?
The negativity, yes,
With
because it's power. And if you think it's like leaders and you know, some priests wear purple. And royalty and and it's just, so or you can go into it. There's so much you can go into.
So the positive side of purple, is it the third eye?
It's the third eye, yes, and everything like that. You associate it as a spiritual colour and yes.
But it's linked to like power and...
Yes, absolutely, and you can be a good power or a bad power. So yes, and that's what I'm saying, all the negatives and the positives.
Wow.
It makes sense though, now that you mention it.
Are there things like what people would call ghosts or energies that sort of hang around? Like if someone's passed over, they sort of refuse to go into the spirit world and they're sort of hanging half in, half out because they're guilty or
everyone goes to heaven, everyone, you know, so, but it's the residue energy that they leave behind. Okay, no one's stuck, everyone goes, and this is where people get misunderstanding of it. It's just their energy that they can leave behind.
Oh, okay.
So I could get a call and someone could call me up and say, there's activity in my house, can you come here? And I've gone and I've felt the energy and I've spoken, and it's either maybe someone that was depressed there, they've left their residue energy, or in fact it's actually someone's loved one that wants to get in touch with them, but they can't, you know, they don't understand what they're saying. But it's a residue energy.
Wow.
But I will tell you this little story. I went to my friend's house and I walked in, and the feelings in his house was unbelievable. It was so heavy. And I said to him, oh my God, there's so many spirits in your house. And as I looked, I went round the corner, he collected all these radios from the war. And they're wood. You know, the real old transistor radios. And I said to him, oh my goodness, all these spirits in your house. And of course, wood and jewellery hold the highest amount of residue energy.
Wood and jewellery, so metal
Jewellery,
and
metal, yes.
Metal and wood.
And wood. And I said, oh my goodness, you need to put all these radios in your shed. Because he said, oh yes, I'm building a shed. And I just felt them all, because they just, obviously, how many people have touched these over the years, and the war, and it just felt really, I was like, oh my goodness, it's so noisy in here. And he didn't know, he had no idea.
And could that create a link between the spirits who have touched them or used them to go to that area?
Yeah, can do, yes. I mean, I personally won't wear second-hand jewellery unless I know who it's from, because I don't want to be picking up on someone's energy.
True.
I mean, I wear my mum's wedding ring, but that's different.
Can you purify a second-hand, like if I was to buy a gold necklace second-hand, could I like purify it?
Oh, you know, sometimes with,
or?
yes, like crystals you can do in the moon, can't you, in the sun, or salt water. But I think jewellery, no, it would still have that residue energy.
Damn it.
Oh, okay.
Sold the marketplace looking for some gold.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. So, but you know, it depends how sensitive you are.
Yeah.
You may not pick up on it.
I'm quite sensitive.
Yeah.
Sometimes if I have a ring,
Yeah.
and I'm going for a bush walk, so I think it's just like take it off and throw it away.
Yeah.
And that's happened to me all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel a bit weird doing that, but it's just like such
Yeah.
a strong urge. I don't know what it's from. So.
So I wear my grandmother's ring, who is a medium, when I work, and I've given it to a student before to practice psychometry. Now, my grandmother died 42 years ago, and I've had this ring for, gosh, maybe 10 years, and they hold it. They may pick up a little bit on me, but it's mainly about her. And she hasn't worn it for 42 years.
Wow, she must have a very strong.
Yes, and I don't have it on today because I'm not working, but it's our birthstone. It's green. So it's like a jade. Yeah, emerald. Yeah, emerald is for May. But yes, so this was obviously her closest thing. Yes, so bless her.
So psychometry is grabbing an object and just
reading the
feeling
soul history of an object. So
is there a method to that?
It's basically holding it in your hand and cupping it, and just allowing all the feelings to come really from your fingertips, and then that goes up to your mind, and then again, left brain over there, just get what you feel, what you see, what you sense, and that history will come through to you.
Wow.
Yes.
And you can not usually see it or feel it, or in your case?
Any sense. Any sense. You've got to use all of your senses when you work.
Yeah.
I used to predominantly say I was clairvoyant. Now I just say spirit, use all my senses.
Beautiful.
Use all of them.
And did that change the way you perceive things from there
Oh,
on?
absolutely, because I could then say, right, I've got your dad here. Oh, I'm smelling oil. Oh, I'm hearing a really noisy workshop. Your dad tells me he owned a workshop and he used a lot of oil and he oiled all of his machines. And the man said, yes, that's right. Because I then opened up my senses.
Sounds like your mind's very powerful when you have a belief like use all my senses and.
Yeah, that's it. Use them all. Yeah, use them all, and it helps tell their story.
Because I say the same story in my head where I say I'm primarily clairvoyant.
Yes.
But I've never been like, no, I've got all of them. You know.
That's it.
I'm going to change from now on.
Yeah. So just say, just use all of my senses to tell your story.
What's clairvoyant? What does that mean?
That's seeing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's seeing. So you can see objectively. So I'm seeing you objectively at the moment, but I'm a subjective clairvoyant. So I could describe them in here, eyes open, eyes shut. I have seen objective spirits. I've seen my mum a couple of times. and then a couple of other spirits, but it's primarily subjective, so that's inner clairvoyance.
Are there different types of spirits? Like some spirits will come through like, whoa, this is a very powerful, like an angel or Jesus or some kind of
no, never had
like that.
Never
No?
sort of channeled Elvis or Princess Diana, no. Just pure, simple loved ones.
Yeah.
You know? So, interestingly, I can bring through animals.
Oh, wow.
They never come in on their own. So, saying that, I even saw a horse yesterday. I said, I see here with your son, there's a horse, and he has an extra long mane than normal. And she went, yeah, that's right.
Wow. And can the animals
Just saw it.
communicate in a way that's sort of with a language, or the more just feeling? Or
It's
sight?
more really the spirit world helping them.
Okay.
In saying that, you know, I've had a couple of people come to me and say, has my dog been poisoned? You know, things like that. So then obviously I've used my abilities along with the spirit world, because I can't just do a reading, oh yeah, I see a dog. It will come with someone.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm not Dr. Dolittle. But I do see quite a lot of animals, because they'd still live, they still will be over there waiting for us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
How has being a medium changed your beliefs around God and religion and things of that nature?
Well, as I covered before, I was brought up Catholic,
Yeah.
and obviously I choose not to go that way, but obviously I still believe in God. But to me, God's not a man sitting on the throne. To me, God is, look outside, beautiful blue sky, trees, flowers, people, babies giggling,
Everything.
just everything is God, you know. So, and but obviously not talking too much about religion, but I was scared as a child.
Okay,
you know, being Catholic and everything. So, yes, let's not go down that route.
That's fair enough.
But yes, people's beliefs.
I can understand.
But yes, I class myself as a spiritualist. But all spiritualists, you've still got to believe in God. You know, so because we touch the God self in you. You know, today I'm touching the God self in you.
Yeah.
You know, we are all a spark of the divine. We're all a spark of God. We are, in effect, God's children. You know, so we are all a spark of the divine.
Beautiful. Do you have ways or practices or things that you do to connect to that allness or that God sort of source, just to sit in it in meditation?
Again,
or
I
of
would
that
sit
nature?
in the power, not necessarily talking to the spirit world, but just sit and contemplate. My downtime is sitting in my garden, connecting with nature. To me, that's connecting with the God source as well. Very much so. I love sitting in nature. Put my little fountain on and just sit there and just sort of try and unwind.
I remember you mentioned to me a long time ago that you had there's a school somewhere in Europe or maybe the UK, which is a spiritualist school?
Yes, the spiritualist school for mediums
Yeah.
and psychic studies. Yes, that is called the Arthur Findlay College.
Arthur Findlay. That's like a Hogwarts type
Yes,
thing.
like Hogwarts. Literally is. Sweeping staircases, wood panels, eyes that look at you in the pictures. Pictures as big as me.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah, amazing place. Amazing place. It's only just reopened actually since COVID.
Are there
Yes.
I really
people?
want to go. They have a strong
Yes,
calling.
it's actually called Stansted Hall. It was
Stansted
gifted to the Spiritual National Union in 1964 and by Arthur Findlay.
Wow.
So yes, and it's actually in a little village called Stansted Mount Fitchett. Beautiful part of the world. Not too far from Stansted Airport. You know, that's not one of the major airports, but obviously there's still quite a lot of flights that go there. It's not as big as like Heathrow or Gatwick, but absolutely amazing place.
So do they teach everything there, or is it just purely mediumship?
Everything. It can be healing, it can be art, all sorts, trance,
Wow.
everything. Yes,
Oh,
so and as I say,
okay.
it's just opened. So yes, so I was actually started my teacher training there.
Yeah.
And then obviously COVID took over. So I'm still sitting on the fence whether I do that or not, carry on. But the world's very, very different now.
Yeah.
So I do have a teaching qualification through the SNU. But obviously to do the teaching at the college, I'd have to then get another qualification, and backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
It's the world's just not the way it is as it used
Well,
to be.
yeah,
So, but yes, but I've got qualifications from the UK. One took me 8 years to get.
Oh wow.
I'm very proud of my shiny badge. It's called DSNU, so it's a Diploma of the Spiritual National Union.
It took 8 years to get that.
8 years to get that, so it's not like a diploma here. You could get a diploma here in just under a year, can't you?
Yeah, yeah.
This was 8 years, lost count of how many times I went to England, backwards and forwards, being assessed by 3 people that will sit at a desk.
How did they assess you though? Like,
all sorts of ways. They, you stand up again in front of an audience and they assess you of what you're saying. They interview you. So yes, I've progressively done this. I think I've done about 120 essays.
Wow.
As well as being with my practical assessments. When I got my recent qualification was 2 years ago, was on Zoom, obviously because of COVID. Couldn't go back to the UK, and I was up at 2:30 in the morning and had to do 2 spiritual communications on Zoom in front of 350 people, not knowing where I was going to go.
How did that change?
So Zoom has been the best for mediumship,
Really?
because you have to truly trust in the spirit world. It's actually, I quite prefer it now.
okay.
Because even though that you can see a few people's faces on Zoom, it's not like in a audience, if it's one-on-one, or when I say one-on-one as in a room, that you get that pick me. You totally have to trust in the spirit world with Zoom. It's amazing. It's really strengthened my mediumship.
Oh wow.
Super interesting.
Did the people who are assessing, could they also kind of sense something similar to what you're sensing? In order for them
it's called double linking. It's called double
okay.
linking. So if you are a qualified medium, I was going to say, because we're still learning, you got the ability to tap into a student that may be struggling. So if I've got 2 students, like I was teaching on Zoom last night, one of them put their hand up, so I went into their room, and they said, I'm really struggling here. So I went, right, okay, what have you got? And I went, did they tell me? And I went, okay, and then I can link into that spirit that they're trying to communicate.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Help them, give them a few more bits of information, then they carry on.
What are some of the biggest blocks that you see in your students or mediums who are on
Left
the path?
brain.
Okay.
Left brain. Yeah,
Okay,
logical
yeah.
mind. Yeah. Oh no, you can't say that. Oh no, do you know what I mean? So they question everything. You've got to let it flow.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
not question. But obviously my students are told you can't say anything about people's health, you can't say anyone's going to die. Again, that's all in their mind if they did.
Yeah.
We're not privy to all that information
Oh, okay.
at
Yeah.
all. We're not privy to that. That's their contract with God.
Fair enough.
You
okay.
know, I've been asked several times, can you please let me know when my mum's going to die or my dad's going to die? And I went, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's their contract. Because you sign a contract before you come here.
Yeah, is it a soul contract?
Yeah, you
Okay.
sign a contract before you come
Wow.
here. Yeah.
Is there a way you can find out what your soul contract was?
Well, you through your soul, your life lessons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So you've got to embrace it.
Do you believe in things like soulmates, twin flames, and that sort of stuff, or is that a bit?
Well, we're all part of one soul family, aren't we? Yes, I've heard obviously of soulmates, twin flames, and everything like that. But you find in life you are attracted to someone, and you think, oh, I've known you before, or you get the deja vu.
Okay, yeah.
So yes, there are bigger soul families.
Yeah.
You could have a soulmate that's your best friend or your girlfriend, or not necessarily your partner.
Yeah.
So, but I always believe there is a way that certain people are attracted together.
Okay.
There's definitely that. It's not something I study a lot on,
Yeah.
but I always believe that you meet people for a reason, season, or lifetime.
Amazing.
Okay.
Now, are there any myths that you've seen that are quite big in the spiritual community that you sort of think that are not, well, it's a myth essentially, people that believe in this main thing that's not actually real or that's distorting the truth?
Oh, you're always going to get skeptics and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, there's always going to be someone that's going to challenge you on some way. So at the moment, there's a gentleman in the UK, a university, he's doing his doctorate, and he's studying the mental processes of how a medium works and how some mediums get good information, some maybe not get so good information. So I've been interviewed through that and taken part in his research, and I've just done part 2 where certain aspects of my mediumship have been, you know, questioned and everything like that. It's absolutely fascinating.
Wow.
So I just say, you know, there's still a science behind it. I always say it's a miracle. I just say thanks every day for choosing me to be a medium.
Awesome.
Oh wow!
Because
Okay.
it is, I'm chosen to do this. It's not
Yeah.
a gift. I haven't been given a gift. The gift is connecting you with your loved one. That's the gift.
True.
So it's very, you know, if there's a skeptic, I say it's very healthy.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to prove a point, you know, because you don't want to, I would say, lower yourself to that level. But if someone challenges you, sometimes, you know, the spirit world, they will give you something for that person that without a shadow of a doubt, you wouldn't know that.
Oh,
and it
okay.
would
Yeah.
help that person. But you're always going to have skeptics in your work,
Yeah.
always.
Especially someone who's scientifically minded.
Absolutely.
I think that's where it's most skeptics would come
Yes,
from.
very much so. But, you know, it is a science what we do.
Yeah.
It is a science, you know, especially if you think about it, physical mediumship, there's a science behind it, because how else do things move? And, you know, it fascinates me.
Still governed by laws of
Yeah,
different kinds,
absolutely. Yes.
Is there things that you do to protect your energy if you just had a very dense or dark job and you're going home? Do you just get the energy off you, or just to sort of...
Well, we're all protected by the light anyway.
Yeah.
But if I do feel a bit vulnerable, I would just surround myself in the white light. Because you're surrounded in the white light when you're working anyway.
Beautiful.
But again, you don't want to get into your mind and thinking, oh, you know, there's the dark energy and things like that. But I just think if I ever feel like, sometimes shopping centres, because you do pick up on quite a lot of
I
energy.
get a bit anxious in shopping centres.
Yeah, sometimes I'll say, right, okay, I'm going in my bubble. Quick, like, that's it.
There's
Click the fingers.
There's a white bubble, is it?
Yeah, or an iridescent bubble. But really, I don't go big on protection, because again, then that can get out of
Belief system,
control.
yeah.
So I just think, you know, white light. You know, sometimes they say water is a good cleanser, you know, because you can imagine yourself, you're under a waterfall. But I maybe used to do those sort of things at the beginning of my development.
Okay, yeah.
Now I just know I'm protected.
Beautiful.
Very much so.
And are you a believer of your thoughts create your own reality? Like we manifest everything like that?
Absolutely.
Are there any limits to that?
Oh, you can believe what you want to believe, really. I mean, I have my gratitude list every single day, and some of those things is that I don't have yet, or haven't done yet, but I still say them.
Too grateful for it.
Yes,
Beautiful.
I've been saying lately, I'm very grateful my books have been published, and I've started 2, but I haven't finished them.
Yeah.
Due to lack of time,
Yeah,
but that's why I say no. I have lots of time to finish my books. I'm very grateful I have lots of times to finish my books.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
your thoughts do create your reality.
What are your books about? What are they?
I've got one at the moment. It's about mediumship,
Beautiful.
and I'm working. I'm 28,000 words on that at the moment. You know, talk about all sorts of things with that. Give examples of certain readings, and it's also going to be a bit of a learning tool as well. And I've also got a fiction book on the go.
Oh wow.
You
That's
know, but
interesting.
that has got a bit of a magical aspect to it. And I want to do a book for children about death.
Nice.
Because I have recently had a couple of mums bring their children to me that they've lost their dads.
Okay.
So, because there is an age limit, not under 16, or even I do prefer 18 if they're coming on their own, but I always get someone to come with the child, and they sit in the room.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very gentle, and but I've helped quite a few children recently that lost their fathers.
Yeah.
Do you feel like children are a lot more open to that realm, or they would be?
Oh,
It's like
absolutely, absolutely. Well, we're all born psychics.
yeah.
But it can change when the hormones kick in, which
Okay.
these days is about 10, 12.
Yeah.
So it can either stay or go. So I'm the only one out of my family that's got this.
Yeah.
But my 2 children, they have it, but they choose not to. Well, my son in particular, but he's very sensitive, so he can. But my daughter, who's a nurse, she literally has to cut hers off
Oh wow.
when she's at work.
You
She's
just-
had amazing things happen at work
Wow.
over this last 2 years.
Oh,
Seeing.
okay.
So is it actually in the DNA, like your grandmother?
Yes, it is in the
to you,
DNA.
it's
Yes,
just-
so
Yeah,
my daughter.
okay.
Yes, so it is. Yeah.
Especially working in a hospital, wouldn't there some things like totally freak her out?
She's had machines go off with no one been in the bed,
Wow.
especially since COVID.
Well,
Yeah.
what are some of the ways spirit reach out to us ordinary people? Like, do there things to look out for that sort of, maybe like a tapping or a
Yeah,
just
there
little
could
things
be,
like that?
like as you see, I wear dragonfly.
Yeah.
My mum sends me dragonflies, which I always say thank you for.
Mm.
So it can be dragonflies, can be birds, feathers,
That's interesting.
coins, yes.
Coins, okay, yeah.
Especially particular 5-cent pieces, they tend to leave.
Mm.
They can make you pick up your phone or you glance and it's 1111, 111,
All those
222, 333. But I always believe talking to them, okay? So I just recently lost my grandfather in February the 19th. I was in my kitchen and I have Google Photos. I've got 450 family photos that go over all day, rotate. I thought of my granddad. I heard in my ear, turn round, there was his picture.
Oh wow.
I went, hello, Grandad. Split second, his funeral song came on the TV.
Oh wow.
And I went, oh, thanks. And that was a month to the day that he had passed. So
Oh,
March
wow.
the 19th.
So even on the TV.
Even on the TV. So, and I was thinking, where's this song come from? And actually it was a furniture advert and it was Unforgettable. You know, is it Nat King Cole?
Yep,
Yeah.
King
That was
Kong.
played at his funeral, which I had to watch on Zoom, obviously because it was in the UK. But his split, I couldn't believe it when I said, hi, Grandad, split second it was on the TV. So
Oh,
the
wow,
spirit
okay.
world are amazing.
Mm.
They will
Yeah.
do anything. If you want to hear from your loved ones, just say, please could I have a sign? But don't think, right, in the next 5 minutes, just say, can I have a
Yeah.
sign? And then when you get one, just say, thank you.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Mm.
I've had this weird thing happen. I've got a friend, whenever we catch up, and like birds will just come really close to us.
Oh, absolutely.
Like the other day, we're at the foreshore, and this huge swan just walks out and just sits right next to us. Like,
Oh yeah, birds,
like,
very
whoa,
much so.
like every single time.
Yeah, very much
But only
so.
with
Oh,
this
really?
Only with this particular person.
Yeah, so there'll be a connection
Yeah.
there with birds for them as well.
Was it a very specific bird or just one distinct bird?
I find willy wagtails here,
Yeah.
but in the
Mm.
UK it's a red-breast robin, you know. And
Oh, okay.
I've been told there is some up in the hills here, but I've never seen a redbreast here.
Oh,
robin.
okay.
But they're classed as spirit animals.
Wow,
Yeah.
so woolly wagtails. What about like crows or ravens?
Oh yeah, I just associate them with
Yeah.
a sort of darker energy.
Oh, do you?
But yes, but you just, but that's only, isn't it, what you've watched
Yeah.
on TV. What do you get when you see a horror film? Not that I watch them. You see the blackbirds, don't you?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
and then that's created for you, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So, but if you look about it, there's lots of things, isn't there? There was always this little rhyme when I was younger about magpies. Isn't it? 1's for sorrow, 2's for joy, 3's for I can't remember
Oh, that-
exactly.
Yeah.
that's familiar,
But there's
can't
all
remember.
these things, yes. And it's
Yeah.
again, is what you've been brought up with as you then carry on, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. What
What
do
about,
woolly
like-
wagtails mean?
Well, to me, they're like the little robins. They can be spirit. Spirit's very close to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
So, because some people will set a code word or
Yeah.
a code animal with someone before they pass,
Yeah.
and that will be their code word that have arrived safely.
Okay.
So my mum did the same to me when she was terminal. She said, I'm going to give you a code word. Don't tell your brothers, your brother, your family, everyone, your sisters. Don't tell anyone, not even your children. So she gave me this code word. And she said, when you hear this word, you know I've arrived safe in heaven.
Wow.
So I didn't tell anybody. Had to fly to England, middle of the night. The next day, my friend rang me from Perth and said, how are you? You know, talking about my mum. And she said, I don't know why I have to say blue, blue, blue. I don't know whether it's bluebird, but it's something to do with blue. And I said, thank you. My mum's code word to me was bluebell.
Bluebell.
So my mum had arrived safe in heaven.
Damn.
That's amazing.
That's amazing, yeah.
Absolutely. And this is interesting. I'll tell you this as well. 3 sisters came to see me to hear about their mum. Beautiful connection with their mum. They said to me, our mum gave us a code word the day just before she died. And of course, no pressure. You think, oh my goodness, no pressure. So I said, right, okay, spirit world, give it to me when I least expect it. Because if I keep thinking, my left brain, what's the code word, what's the code word, it's going to take the naturalness away. 5 minutes later, I get in my ear, it's like your mum's. And I'm thinking, like my mum's? Ah. And I said, oh, I feel your mum's is something to do with blue. Blue. It was blueberries.
Oh, wow.
How amazing is that? So the spirit world helped me and said it's like your mum's. So it started the same.
Wow.
So and that's when you said earlier, spirit world will use your own experiences to help you tell the story.
So they can sort of read your memories, so to speak.
Yes, it's like your memory bank, yeah.
Wow. Do you work with dreams at all? Much, or interpreting
sometimes
dreams and things of that
people
nature?
will ask me about that,
Yeah.
but I don't really
thing,
know
okay.
a lot about that. You know, sometimes I will look up things myself,
Yeah.
you know, what that means. You know, I know that if you dream about water, it's emotions and things like that.
Okay.
But I do know some people do get premonitions. So I always say, you know, always write them down, date it, and just see what happens.
Okay.
But myself, I don't dream a lot.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
So, you know, you get the odd one sometimes, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But, you know, sometimes you can overanalyze, can't you?
I always have analysed, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I'm the same. I think don't dream often, but when I do, you overanalyze. Yeah.
definitely.
Especially if
definitely.
it's something like related to like a family member or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And sometimes it's picked up from something that's happened in that day, or you've
Yeah.
spoken about it. It's something's in your subconscious,
Yeah.
and then your mind then creates, you know, this dream. Sometimes I'll look
Yeah.
at Dream Dictionary and think, oh, well, yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah.
But
It
it's
would
not
quite
often.
change, yeah. 'Cause I have a thing with like dark animals. Like, I had a dream last night of like about 5 little tiny kittens, like playing with me. But then after a while, they were stuck to my leg, like clawing me.
Oh, really?
You know?
I
And
wonder
then that
what
black swan in the river.
means.
So I'm wondering.
Yes,
what
because
are
it's
these
all maybe in your
black animals,
subconscious.
you know?
Someone's spoken
Yeah.
to you about the black swan, someone's spoken to you about kittens,
Mm.
and then it all intermingles.
Yeah, it does.
It is,
Yeah.
it's truly fascinating.
I think for me, like the craziest dream I ever had is when I was younger. I had a dream that my mom had a tire puncture on the highway, the freeway. Yeah, and I think it was like a couple of weeks later, she was really late from work, from coming home.
Yeah.
And she was really frazzled. I was like, oh, what's going on? What happened? Oh, she told me like, oh yeah, my tire popped in in the middle of the freeway. I was like, oh wow, what the fuck? I was like, I had a dream about this a couple of weeks ago, but I didn't really mention it because,
No,
you know.
that's it. So it's like
Yeah.
a premonition. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That was going to happen. And while we're on the subject of dreams, no, spirit world don't come to me at night.
No.
Okay.
They don't. I say, no, I'm off duty. Occasionally I've sensed my mum,
Yeah.
you know, because I'm very much of a thinker. So sometimes if I can't sleep, I think and think and think. And I have had a knock on the bed, and all I just say is, okay, Mum, I'll go sleep now. And it hasn't bothered me because I know it's
Wow.
her. She's
Yeah.
like telling me off, still tells me off from the spirit world. You know, just for God's sake, go to sleep.
Yeah. Can I ask you about experiences that I've heard some people have had through my TikTok and myself personally? Is
Yeah.
this thing called sleep paralysis, where
Oh, yes, that's happened to me
you get
once.
stuck and then you can
Horrible.
see something. Yeah.
Yes.
So I used to get it quite a lot, where I'd close my eyes and I could hear it knocking at the window.
Right.
Open my eyes, there's no knock.
Yes.
And then I hear a word,
Yeah.
the word in my head would be necromancer
Yes.
to me.
Wow.
I'm freaking out. And
Yeah.
then other times I would wake up and I can't move,
Yeah.
and then I start to feel like a darker energy, or I see like a shadowy
Right.
figure or something like
Yes.
that. And a lot of people have experienced a similar thing. Do you have any idea what that would be, or would this be just a...
I
No
don't
idea.
know a lot about it.
Yeah.
I would just say again, it can be our subconscious is very, very powerful, and we
Yeah.
can create things. But yes, I have heard of it. Once, as I say, it happened to me in
Yeah.
a very old house I was renting.
Okay.
You know, and I remember when I first moved in, there was this knocking, like, oh, welcome, you come to
Oh,
stay in
wow.
my house.
How old were
This-
you at this stage?
Not that long ago, maybe about 12 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've only experienced it once,
Just
and
once.
yes, it is incredibly scary, but tried not to go into it too much, because again, the mind is powerful. The mind can create things and make it worse than it actually is.
True. Yeah.
So yeah, so I don't know a lot about it.
I always thought of it as something, a fear inside of me from it's different beliefs from my parents and
Yes,
family.
that's
and then
it. Yes,
when
your
you have
mind
an
is your mind's
experience,
powerful.
you're overanalyzing
Yes,
it and
that's it. Your mind's
warping it,
very,
twisting
very
it.
powerful.
Yeah.
So
Beautiful. Could you tell us about what you've got coming up in the near future, like things you're working on or projects or events people
yes,
can jump into?
well, I'm writing, as I said to you,
Yeah.
and I've made a real positive move as to cut back on my readings next year.
Okay.
I'm going to work smarter, not harder, because
Yeah.
I really desperately want to write. And another thing, I found out my grandmother used to write, so
Wow.
it seems to be taking on quite a lot of her traits. Tomorrow night I have a demonstration of mediumship, but that's sold out. But it's a very, if I say it's a small venue, when I say small, there's about 50.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but that's a nice energy to work with.
Yeah.
And then next week I've got a high tea with mediumship. That's up in Wanneroo.
That's beautiful.
And then again I will do some other demonstrations of mediumship
Yeah.
throughout the year. I'm also, because I'm part of the Spiritualist Church here, I do church services as well,
Oh, nice.
and demonstrations of mediumship.
Whereabouts
we
is
do
that church
fundraising
service?
in
Is it
Cannington.
in Cannington?
Oh, wow.
Yes, but that's my home church, if I
Yeah.
say that's my home church, but we've also got a church in Rockingham.
Nice.
That's Wanless Street, and I serve a church in Melville,
Okay.
Currumbine.
Well, what are the
and
churches called? Is this
Forestfield.
the Spiritualist Church? or-
So they've all got different names. So you've got the Forestfield Spiritualist Centre,
Yeah.
that's off Hale Road.
Beautiful.
In Currumbine, it's the White Dove Centre.
White Dove, yeah.
And then obviously you've got Rockingham SNU or Cannington SNU.
Okay, beautiful.
When I first moved here, there was so many more churches,
Mm,
but they've all sort of gone by the wayside,
fair
which
enough.
is a shame, really.
Okay.
Is there any spirit in this room?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
No.
We're good.
No,
That's
no.
interesting, yeah.
I would say I'm off duty anyway, but
No,
I
that's fair enough,
can,
just
as a
in
flick of
case.
my finger, I
Yeah.
can get in the
Okay.
power.
Oh,
Just
okay.
like
I just want to
that.
know just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I'll sleep well
no.
tonight.
Yeah, no, it's nice energy. No, I never bring them with me, don't you worry.
Oh,
and
no, I'm not
again,
worried about that.
oh, some people think that.
I was not worried about
They
me,
do.
because there's like a spirit here. You're like,
Yes,
what is
no.
that? I don't
And
know. like-
considering I work from home in my room,
yeah.
I've got a spare room. I just literally, at the end of the day, shut the door. But sometimes that energy in that room is beautiful. All that love in that room. It's amazing.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I'm very
It is.
excited for your books, to be honest. But as a
Yes.
medium, I'm guessing you'd have such beautiful works that could come through you.
Oh yes, and
And,
some of the readings I've shared, and that's not out of ego whatsoever. I'm just in awe of the spirit world, what they can give you. It just blows my mind.
Wow.
You know, they can give you so much evidence, dates, what happened to them, what's happened recently. I'm just in awe of spirit, really. They are my best teachers.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Do you ever have like points where you just get get into a flow state of knowledge, and you're just kind of wondering where that
Yeah,
came
you're
from?
kind of in a little bit of a semi-awareness when you're speaking to them. Because if you think about it, I'm just in this shaft of light and I'm literally conferring with them.
Yeah.
So, and I am the voice for the voiceless.
Beautiful.
That's what I say. I am the voice for the voiceless.
Oh, yeah.
I have one last question for you to end it off. What advice would you give to somebody who's trying to find their soul purpose or a bit more meaning in life, so to speak?
Again, just sit and listen in the silence. You learn a lot.
Beautiful.
So again, it will be in their soul. And again, go somewhere lovely, by the sea, by the river, in a garden, because it's your soul that speaks to you. Your soul's the most important thing.
Amazing.
Definitely.
Yeah, beautiful.
Just one more. Do things like fairies exist? Like these folklore tales and things of that nature?
Oh yeah, I was always told there was fairies at the bottom of the garden, and my
Yeah.
brother came from under the gooseberry bush.
Mm.
But yes, there's. I remember in one of my studies there was fairies on the spiritual photography. Obviously, there's all folklore, isn't there? I mean,
Yeah.
I've found out from the genealogy that I'm part Irish. So yeah, and of course you've got all the folklore there, haven't you, and the leprechauns
Yeah,
and everything
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
that. And I just say you can believe what you want to believe. No harm to anyone.
That's true.
That's
So,
true, yeah.
and that phrase, spirit world, don't hurt you. It's the living that can. So never fear, spirit, because they don't hurt you. They come with so much love. You should be more afraid of the living.
Yeah, that's kind of scary as well.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
even more scary,
Yeah.
actually.
It is, yeah. So
Beautiful.
the spirit will never ever scare you at all. Yes, when I was younger, I used to say, oh my goodness, I don't want to see you. But now I just say, oh, bring it on.
We're just scaring ourselves, essentially, right?
Yeah, sometimes, it is. And it's in your mind. You can create this, especially when you're a child.
Yeah.
But I just think the more information you get, the better.
Beautiful.
And
to add on to that, are there any books you'd recommend or people you'd recommend to follow or get involved to learn more and things that have helped you?
Oh gosh, there's heaps. I
What are the first come to
read
your mind?
many. One to help if you want to do like philosophy. It's all the Silver Birch books.
Oh, nice. I have
They
Silver
are
Birch books.
amazing.
Yeah.
I love Silver Birch.
Not many know about Silver Birch. Wow.
Brilliant books. I just read. Oh, I can tell you, I just read all sorts. I have a library that I I can't talk now, sorry. I have a library that I lend to my students, they can borrow. So I've got anything from mediums, old mediums. The old-fashioned mediums are the best.
Have you heard of Stanton Moses?
Yes, I have. Yeah, William Stanton Moses, yes. So I've got the University of Spiritualism, which is incredibly dry. I've got
dry.
one that I've just bought recently, The Trumpet Will Sound. And again, that's also connected through Maurice Barbanel.
Spiritual Truth Foundation.
Yes. So I get that from Nick. Nick actually did my website, who actually has the Spiritual Truth Foundation. There's all sorts. Yeah, it's really good with biographies as well.
Yeah.
And how mediumship works. Again, spirit world are your best teachers.
What is it about the UK that has so many great mediums that have gone through there?
It's, do you know what? People nowadays want it like it's yesterday. Back in the day, you would sit for sometimes years, same seat, same time, every single time. Now, people do not want to commit.
Oh, okay. So it's
But it has changed. If you think about it, there was not many TVs back then, no mobiles, no computers, so they didn't have a lot, did they? But here now, it's so different. But it again it takes time, commitment, dedication. Like you've heard me today, I continuously work on my mediumship.
Beautiful.
yeah.
So...
Do you have an opinion on things like psychedelics or magic mushrooms and those sorts of things? You don't recommend?
No.
Old-fashioned hard work?
Yeah.
Yes, no.
Okay.
You've got to sit with yourself, sit with soul and spirit, and that is ultimately your journey.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Do you pretty much sit and meditate at the same time every day?
Well, don't meditate. Meditate's different to sitting in the power.
Yeah.
Obviously, meditate is slowing your body down. I am the worst meditator, I will say. I have monkey mind.
Yeah.
I think of this thing. So to me, meditation is sitting in the garden, listening to the fountain, walking the dogs. That's my meditation.
So it's active meditation.
So sitting in the power is more active. You're building up your energy to sit in the power. I do that a lot. I haven't done it yet today because I haven't got readings today, but I ultimately do that when I've got readings.
Yeah.
So, and it can be any time, but sometimes a client will turn up early and I'll go, damn, I haven't sat in the power, but then I just see my golden 8 and then my head's in heaven.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Love it. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming down.
Yeah,
I'm
so
so
that was
much-
beautiful. That was
My
amazing.
pleasure.
Well,
I just love talking about it, and as you can see, I'm very passionate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. This has been one of
It's
the.
my life.
It is a different way to live. It's a lonely way,
Yeah.
and it's about being in the movement or something. And what it is professional jealousy. It's very isolating being a medium.
Professional jealousy.
Other mediums can be nasty, nasty. So it's it makes you quite insular.
Yeah.
So you do all of your senses. Use all of your senses. All of them. So yes, you've got your sixth sense, seventh, eighth, ninth. Ninth is mediumship. So and everyone's got sixth sense.
Okay.
Everyone's got your sixth sense. Seventh is clairvoyance.
Okay.
Eighth sense is clairaudience.
Oh, okay.
So yes.
So everyone has those.
Oh yeah, everyone has those, but obviously everyone has six.
Yeah.
But then obviously it depends what your sixth one, how sharp it is. But then obviously psychics and mediums, and then can go on to 6, 7, 8, 9.
So we have 9 senses in total.
Yes,
And
yes,
what
through this work. But yes, but you obviously, if you look up on the internet, it does say there are 10 senses, but they're broken down differently.
Wow.
So I would say to any beginner, just use your 5 senses all the time. You know, have a drink, taste it, smell it, you know, see what's outside, hear.
What is the sixth sense?
Well, that's your gut feelings.
Okay.
That's it. That's your gut
So you're
feelings.
more
It's
like
a knowing.
your
It's a
intuition?
knowing. Yes,
Yeah.
it's your intuition, gut feelings. Again, where do you feel if you're nervous here? Where do you feel you're excited here? So that's where your soul is. Yeah.
Interesting.
It is. So
Very
it's a good
interesting.
thing you've got here. That's really good.
Yeah. Not manifesting.
Yes. No, it's good.
Is there anything you know about like energetic blocks, like you got solar plexus block or sacral blocks, things like that? Do you do much energy work? And that nature?
Not as much now. But I always just say I'm just flowing freely. Just flowing freely. You know, always sage as well. Sage your house. You're having all different people in here.
Yeah.
I would definitely make sure you sage it,
I follow some.
especially in corners, because that's where
Okay.
the emotions are kept. It's really good to clear out your room.
How
And
often
then-
would you say you want to clear out your own?
if you're having all different people in here, like I do mine maybe once a month, and then you just open all the windows and doors and just say if there's anything negative here, just leave.
Yeah.
But it's not. You just say that, but you know what I mean. But it's quite a lot of grief. But then I would hold in my room. But really, I mean, I've had people come to my house and say, "How do you feel in this room?" And they just say, "It's still." In my reading room, it's still. It's quiet.